Hi, Rebels, and welcome to the Mind Body Podcast, your rebellious podcast with me, your host, Maria, where today we get to speak to holistic and health coach, Sarah Dawkins. Welcome, Sarah, and thank you for being here with us.
Oh, thank you for inviting me. It's so great to be back with you, Maria.
Absolutely. Sarah, I am so delighted that you're here because you speak about something that's so dear to my heart. And I know you do a lot of education, empowering people to take charge of their well-being and healing themselves from within. And I'm so excited to, have your expertise and bright spirit here. And before we dive into our topic of healing ourselves, let's get to learn a little bit about Sarah. Tell us 3 words that describe you and give us a little bit of a backstory behind each word.
Passionate. And that came from surrendering my nursing license and training as a coach to do what lights my soul up when I finally realized what that was in coaching. Compassionate. That comes from listening to all the stories that people tell about themselves and knowing that from where I've come from too, I can have empathy for a lot of those people and understand what they're going through because of what I've been through to get me to where I am now. Fun. I'm a bit hippie, I'm a bit crazy, I'm a bit gypsy soul, bit of a free spirit, a bit of a rebel at times. And that's come from learning who I am authentically because, we wear these masks, these layers, if you like, that we want to be liked, we want to fit in. So we make ourselves small in some areas so that we don't offend people to fit in with who they are. So to find out who I was, I've had to get rid of all of those layers and peel back like an onion, if you like, to find that free spirit within me.
And I love that, Sarah. I think that's why we vibrate so well is because I too have some of that rebellious gypsy, hippie spirit in me. And the funny thing is, looking back at my life, I've always had it. It has always been there. But to your point, I've had to suppress it so that I can fit, in school, in the corporate world, like even with friends and family so that I'm not judged. And once you find out the power that comes from being authentically you, first of all, can we celebrate that for a second? Like how good that feels, right? And then you also
Absolutely.
brought up passion. And to be honest with you, Sarah, I'd love to hear your opinion. I think authenticity and purpose kind of come hand in hand. And I think they go so along with the word of healing because as long as we wear those masks and we are not ourselves, we try to fit in and we break the truth to ourselves and who we are uniquely are, that does not serve our body, mind, and spirit. What do you have to say?
And it causes
Yeah.
dis-ease. And a lot of suffering in the world is because people are trying to fit in to be somebody they're not. So their body starts exhibiting symptoms. And sometimes we don't even pay attention. It's maybe a bit of a headache or a bit of an upset tummy or a bit of a sore throat. And we just pass it off or we pacify it with a pill and we don't even listen to it. So then the body starts shouting at us louder and louder and louder until eventually, like myself, it dropped me on my knees with depression and suicidal thoughts. For me, I see that now that I had to go through that to become who I am authentically, to shed myself of the layers and the load of carrying what wasn't mine to carry and being who I wasn't. So now that I've found myself, I've ignited that passion, and absolutely our purpose feeds our passion because we go through what we go through, which helps us to help others because of our own understanding. We've been there, we've worn those shoes, we've walked that mile, and it's challenging. But we have to go through that at times.
I think it's challenging, and we kind of started talking about that. It has become so accepted to feel like crap, right? And you feel like crap, and what do? Everybody else around feels like crap too. And oh, what medication are you taking? And what cream are you taking? And we just plop it, and we don't stop and pause and reflect of what is my body trying to tell me? What is it trying to communicate with me? And we just suppress it, and my favorite analogy is, I call it, we have like the sewage system. It's like we suppress, and that sewage system starts getting full. And that's when the unease starts happening, right? You can't sleep, you're bloated, you don't feel so great. And if we don't address it, what happens? That sewage system overflows. And that's where, to your point, that's where disease comes. And I think even then, this is why I love having you here, is because how many times have you heard, well, my doctor can't heal me, my coach can't heal me? And it's like, nobody can heal you. There's only one person who can heal you. There are people who can support you, but there's only one person who can bring through healing. What do you say about that, Sarah?
Totally agree with that. And I call myself a healer sometimes because I've healed my body, but I can't heal anybody else. I can help them to understand the messages in their symptoms. I can help them to find the root cause of their symptoms. I can help them to have understanding of what's happened in their life, how that's fed into their symptoms. But I can't heal the people. They do that themselves by changing their diet, their lifestyle, and doing that deep inner work, that spiritual, that mindfulness, that digging into the past to find and heal those hurts, to let go, because it's all, as you say, it's all suppressed within us. And every once in a while, a little bit of steam comes out, just to let out some pressure with some symptoms. And then we suppress it again. But really, we need to just really gently just open that lid and take a curious look in, being gentle with ourselves.
And I really appreciate you saying being gentle with ourselves, because especially the crowd I work with, I have a lot of, well, no surprise, I have a lot of people who are like the old me, type A's, like to push, control, perfectionism, all of that, have to do everything for everybody else. And we figure out like, oh, this is on me. And then what do we start doing? We start beating on ourselves. Oh, I did it wrong. I didn't do it right. And it's like, whoa. Okay. That hasn't served us well so far. So let's take a different conversation with ourselves. And like you said, let's be gentle and start with a clean plate. Yeah. Let's look at what no longer serves us. One of my favorite phrases is let go. My next retreat is called The Art of Letting Go, because it is so fun to let go and surrender to life and being, than pushing and trying to pretending, right? Having the illusion of control. What do you find in the people who come to work with you, Sarah? Like, what are some of the things that they come to you for? What are the problems that they're looking to solve?
So the latest client that came to me had histamine problems. They've seen no end of coaches, no end of trauma coaches, gut coaches, mental health coaches, and ongoing 2 years down the line, and they're still nowhere. And they want me to recommend a pill,
of course,
or a gut reset, or an activity. And I'm like, you have to go inside. Here's some work. Here's a booklet to work through at your own pace, and I'll help and support you. And they don't want to do it because it's challenging to dig into the past. And it's easy to say, well, I have no memories of that. Well, I understand, because I don't have a lot of memories of my childhood, but you'll have some, and you can work on the feelings and the thoughts from your childhood. So that's one of my later clients. I've had lots with emotional issues, overly expressing negativity and having tears, crying all the time, skin rashes, not understanding their own behaviours, their own self, trying to be somebody for everybody at the detriment of themselves because they don't understand themselves. And that's challenging for them to try and understand who they are when we take all those layers off. And conversely, I've had people who are well and don't want to get sick. So they're looking at how to maintain health and wellness. And really, the work is very similar. very, very similar. To stay healthy and to heal ourselves, we have to address what I've now determined as 4 pillars: the physical, the mental, the emotional, and the spiritual. And all of those play into holistic health, because we're a body, mind, and spirit. We're not a heart, a lung, a nervous system, a skin. We've been so separated out, but actually our job as coaches is to put those people back together and say, so you've got that symptom there, and how does that impact the whole of the rest of your body, and what's happening in your mind? So for me, it's to help them bring themselves back into a whole person, because they might have a cardiologist and a pulmonologist and a dermatologist and an oncologist, and it's like nobody's treating them as a whole person. They're all a part of a person.
Yeah. And, one of my favorite sayings is that your body is an expression of you physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, which is exactly what you touched on. And goes back to what we started talking about, is how your body is constantly giving you feedback on where your opportunities are. And I think the way we're used to a society, I will tell you, when I jumped into my entrepreneurial journey, I didn't start with where I am now, right? Addressing all of those pillars that you talked about. I started with addressing physical fitness. And then working with bodies and my own journey, I was like, wow, what changed in your life that your body changed the way that it moved? And when I started tapping into that and, having all of these ahas, and I'll go research it, I'm like, oh my gosh, there is a research study on that. And oh my gosh, there is a book on that, right? And you just see how naturally the dots start getting connected. But I grew up in a very academic family. I studied a lot. I would say I'm a pretty, educated person. None of that stuff was ever talked about. And movements, my movement was really a way for me to abuse my body to be a specific shape and size. It wasn't movement for healing and to feel great and to stay strong and to stay mobile as I age. It was just and it was dictated by the outside, not by how my body feels, for sure. And the addressing the person wholesomely or holistically, I think it has such tremendous power. What would you say if somebody's like, okay, Sarah, I hear you, and I have health issues. Sometimes they're something like cancer, right? Scary, terminal, perhaps. And sometimes it's, I get a headache from time to time, so I can ignore it or pop a pill. Or sometimes people are like, you know what, I really want to be proactive. And they're like, but you know what? I am not ready to open that can of worms of emotions and dealing with emotions. I have found that sometimes people are dreading addressing their emotions. I'm like, it's really not a bad experience. It's really not a scary experience. You have to be ready, right? I can make you be ready. What do you say about that, Sarah? With your experience and the work that you do?
I help them to start where they want to start. So, do you want to start in the physical? Do you want to start in the mental? Do you want to start in the spiritual or the emotional? Because I read a quote once, and I really love it, that a little bit of something is better than a lot of nothing. So for some people, it helps them to take those baby steps. And they will only do what they want to do. So let's look at what they want to do and help and support them on that issue. Because when we do something for our body, it also impacts our mind and our spirit as well. And when we do something for our mind, equally it impacts our body and our spirit, and with the spirit as well. So we can start wherever we want to start, and know that that little thing will impact us as a whole, not just in the one physical plane, say, or the mental element to it. It will impact all of us. So I help them to decide for themselves where they want to start, so that they will do and follow through on what they want to do.
Hey Rebels, I want to take a quick moment to share something super exciting with you. If you've been feeling stuck, disconnected, or just know there is more to life than what you're experiencing, I have something special for you. I have created a powerful 6-step video series called Unleash Your Potential, an introduction to the Angelova Method. As a valued Mind Body podcast listener, the series is my gift to you. In this series, I will guide you through the core elements of the Angelova Method, a unique approach that integrates movement, mindset, and mastery to help you align your body, mind, and life. You will learn practical techniques to improve your alignment, boost your core strength, and connect deeply to your inner self. Whether you're looking to enhance your physical health, gain mental clarity, or simply live more fully, these videos are designed to get you started on the path to your most vibrant self. And the best part? It's completely free. So if you're ready to break through barriers and unleash your full potential, head over to mindbodyexpert.com and get started today. Let's take this journey together, because you, my rebel, deserve nothing less than the extraordinary. And you started talking about the physical. What do you see? Do you see a trend amongst generally clients? And I know people are individual, but do you see a trend in like physical fitness? I don't even call my modality fitness anymore. I call it movement. Do you see opportunities where people are not leveraging their movement as a way to heal themselves? I'm really curious about that.
Yes. And a lot of people don't know how to move. You know, there's a lot of sedentary people. I mean, just gardening or dancing around the house or going for a walk in nature, you know, something that nourishes their soul, something that they want to do as well. Because when I was depressed, and likely for a lot of other people, I did not want to go outside and walk in green space. It was one of the last things I wanted to do. I wanted to hibernate in my house. But because we had dogs, I had to go outside. And just walking outside in green space, after about a year, I actually started to pop outside of the dark hole that I'd lived in for that year. And that's just simple walking. You know, I didn't interact with anybody. I didn't want to be with anybody. I just walked in through the country with the trees, the grass, the stream. And, you know, so it doesn't have to be anything major like going to a gym, because a lot of people think that movement means going to a gym or exercising at home to a YouTube video. Well, if that's what you like and that's what you're going to do, then that's great. But there's a lot of people that don't like that and absolutely won't do it. So it's a case of whatever they want to do, I can help and support them and maybe suggest things that they might not have even thought about. I mean, just literally, rather than sitting on the sofa for the whole night watching telly, say every 30 minutes, stand up and just march on that spot for 1 minute. Just 1 minute, but every 30 minutes. Or every 20 minutes, whatever they want to do, or march for 2 minutes, just something really tiny just to get their body moving.
Yeah. 2 points that come up from what you're talking. One, you made that point a couple of times that it doesn't have to be big, right? It doesn't have to be an hour and a half of wellness. It could be start with 5 minutes if you don't have the habits. Consistency is what's going to change the game, because like you said, Sarah, it's doing small things consistently than doing a whole lot of nothing and thinking about it and contemplating it. The other point that you brought up, Sarah, is you said, and I just walked outside all by myself. That is so therapeutic. To me, outdoor therapy is one of the best things for body, mind, and spirits. And it's so overrated. All you need is to put a pair of comfortable shoes, obviously be in a safe place, and just go. And the area that you're describing sounds heavenly, to be walking around with greenery and silence. That is one of the best things we can do for ourselves. Fresh air, you know, we are so saturated to the fake lighting that we have everywhere nowadays. We spend so much time inside, like the young generation, they're growing inside versus the way I grew up, always running outside and being outside, right? All of that affects our body in a big ways that we don't understand cumulatively how they add up over time. So I'm really glad that you brought up those points. And the third one you brought up, that you had a dog and you had to walk the dog. You know, I think that's a fantastic way to get yourself moving, because that puppy has to go out. And even if it's to take the puppy for 10 minutes out, 10 minutes adds up. 10 minutes in the morning, 10 minutes, you know, in the beginning, it's more frequently. That puppy can be a really great accountability partner and friend on your journey to wellness. That was a great idea. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. I mean, they didn't want, we had two dogs, 2 hours, and they didn't want to stay and they wanted to be out walking. I didn't want to go out walking, if I'm honest. I wanted to stay inside, but I knew it wasn't right for them. I had to put myself out for them. But over time, that really broke into the low mood that I'd been feeling for so long, and life started to open up and blossom.
Yeah. And I have a dog and I love watching her because I will tell you, you don't have to coach a dog of what feels naturally good for them, right? They want to be outside, they want to play. My dog every day would spend time outside. She'll go outside on the patio or on the yard. She will find the sunniest spot that there is, and she would sit there for like 15 to 20 minutes undisturbed, just like looking. The other thing that she does, I laugh because I say she's meditating. She sits in front of the window, and to be honest with you, I don't know what she's looking at, but she's just like staring. And you can call her name, you can like try to distract her. She would not move. She's just like zoned out. She does this every single day. Like she comes from the inside. What's the first thing she does when she gets up? She stretches. I mean, I'm like, we can learn so much from our pets, right? They don't know lifestyle. They don't know,
Yes.
like nobody taught them what to do. But they know. She's practicing mindfulness. She's practicing movement. She's practicing playtime. She's practicing what feels good. She's gathering, vitamin D. Like it's coming from the inside out. And we have lost connection to that, like human, what we want.
Yeah, and I love the way dogs shake as well as, their stress response.
They,
They just shake their whole body, which again, it's movement, and it helps to reset the nervous system. And we can do that
yeah.
too. Or we can make that shake into a dance and just be silly and let our inner child out to play. There's so much that we can do if we allow
If we allow
ourselves.
ourselves. And I love that you bring up silly because like we started talking, like I have such a playful, silly nature. And sometimes, especially with like new clients, they'll look at me and they're like, for real? And I'm like, yeah, get silly. And they look at me for a second and then they're like, oh, okay. Like, and they just become so fun. Like they let the true person come out, and that what that does for the
Yeah.
relationship and how they feel. Like my clients are like, I don't dread coming here. They're like, I so look forward to our sessions together because I know I'll feel good. I know I'll have time. I know I'll be taken for who I am, not being judged, not being like criticized, just
Oh,
being met where I am and supported. And I think that's another aspect of
yes.
well-being, right? Finding that community that, like, I love having this interaction with us of people who think alike, who support each other, and who get it, right? We speak the same language.
Yes, and that whole Yes, yes, and that whole meet people where they are, because a lot of people fear being judged and won't seek help because of that fear. But if they know that we're just going to meet them where they are, and have compassion for
Yeah.
them for where they are, it helps them to do the work that's necessary, feeling loved and
Yeah.
supported.
I love creating that safe space that we all need, right, to grow and to flourish and to even give ourselves that permission to be who we authentically are. And to tell how perhaps we're struggling with something that we're so afraid the world will judge us if we're not the perfect mom or the perfect business person or whatever else we are going to put a mask and pretend we are while we are falling behind apart behind closed doors. I love it. Sarah, what's
Yeah.
one piece of advice you have for our listeners?
I think, speaking from my own experience and what I see in others too, we all strive to be perfect, or a lot of us strive to be
Yeah.
perfect. There is no perfect, there's only presence. So show up, bring your presence, and if it goes wrong, it goes wrong. There's a lesson to learn. But if it goes right, celebrate
Yeah.
it, and be who you are authentically when you're doing that. Let go of, oh well, what if I offend somebody, or what if they don't like it? we're not for everybody. We can't please everybody. But the more that we can be authentically us, some of our friends, family, neighbours, acquaintances might well leave our lives. But actually that leaves a void for others to come in. And those that come in will come because we attract them with our energy of being our authentic self. So be who you are. Don't be afraid to mess up and make a mistake, and keep moving forwards.
Yeah, I love that. And, I say there are no mistakes. There are only lessons. So whatever happened for a reason. What's the lesson out of it? And just don't stress about it. Don't obsess over it. Don't, oh my gosh, I didn't do perfect. It is what it is.
Yeah.
Life teaches us. Life has beautiful opportunities for us to learn and grow. So with that said, and speaking of authenticity, what is your definition of rebellious, Sarah?
Oof. My definition of rebellious, I think I'm a rebellious, authentic health coach who used to be a nurse. So for me, rebellion was stepping outside of taking pills and suppressing symptoms to doing that deep inner work, finding who I am and healing myself.
Yeah, I love that. I celebrate that because I can very much relate to that. I do think is again stuck to the way we started. You said that we have to heal ourselves before we can support others on their healing journey. And I mean, I can attest to that. Like where my world is now, it couldn't have been if I didn't learn everything that I learned through my own healing journey, rebellious journey. Yeah. So love it. Sarah, where can our listeners connect with you? Like websites, social media, where can they find you?
Everything is on my website. So if you go there, it's www.sarahdawkins.com, SARAHDAWKINS.com.
And we're going to share that in the episode notes as well. Rebels, you know the spiel. Whatever questions you have, please ask them, because you know that if you have a question, there is a very good chance that somebody else has that same question too. Sarah, I thank you so much for finding the time to be here with us and sharing your wisdom and bright light and healing vibes. I wish you all the best. Rebels, do share this episode with anybody who you might think might find it helpful. Subscribe and let's share healing and great vibes around the world. I thank you, Sarah. I thank you, Rebels, for listening. And don't forget to stay rebellious. We'll see you next time. Thank you for joining us on the Mind Body Podcast, where we explore the power of living authentically and rebelliously. If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with a fellow rebellious soul who would love to hear what we share as much as you do. Stay strong, stay calm, and most importantly, stay rebellious. Until next time, rebellious souls, keep living fully. Your journey is just beginning.